Okay, today we're going to find angles, but first we're warming up with a few right triangle trig problems that we learned last week, or last time we were together. We did some sine and cosine, and we did tangent before that. All right, so number 2, what did we use? What did you guys think for a setup? Cosine, okay, or I know you're saying cos. Let's not cos either, because that's what I heard in the hallway was cosine. No, anyway, it's cosine. So adjacent over hypotenuse, this would be the cosine of 25 equals adjacent 40 over hypotenuse x. Now, be careful, make sure you didn't calculate this one incorrectly because you do have x in the denominator, and if you do your cross products property, you would have x times the cosine of 25 equals 40, and then you would need to divide both sides by cosine 25. So your actual typing in your calculator should be 40 divided by the cosine of 25. And we should have had 44.1. Is it telling us to round to anything in the directions? All right, then let's go to the nearest tenth. Whenever in doubt, go to the nearest tenth. All right, number 3. That one is the tangent, not the tan. Tanning is bad for you. All right, the tangent of 18 is 30 over x. I did a lot of it. I should know. All right, cross, multiply, and divide. Cannot stop my daughter from tanning either. All right. But she's in calculus, so she's not tanning as much lately. She's taking calculus in college. I'm just kidding. That's not 30 divided by tan 18. I know, I'm going to be done joking when I start teaching something new. Okay, this is not new. 92.3, guys? And that would be in units. Okay, number 4, quickly set it up for me. Someone want to volunteer on what you would write for your equation? I guess you're ahead of me and you don't really want to go back and do number 4 then. How many of you are past number 4? Alrighty, and so has anybody finished them up to the new stuff? All right, so let's just quick tell what you got then. So can you just tell me, I know this should have been tangent of 13 equals 10 over x, and let's make sure we all agree on the calculation for x. What do you have for that one, Kylie? Okay, anybody have something other than 17.3 units? So we make sure we talk about the problem. All right, the number 5, we should have had opposite over hypotenuse. That would be your sine of 74 is x over 210. Did you get clarified? Okay. Did you have that one calculated upside down? Yeah. Okay. Are you on a different one? Or are you on this one? Okay. What did you get for, Murphy, for number 5? 201.9 units. Great. I'm so glad everybody's even putting their unit sign on there. And what trigonometric function did you use? Isn't that a big word? Trigonometric sounds kind of neat. Robert, what do you got for 6? Yay. Okay. And so what would you type on your calculator and then tell me what you got? Yes. And 40.4 units. Yay. Okay. Anybody disagree or need help with that one? Okay. Then let's hit 7, 8, 9. Oh. I can get my butt. Oh, no. 7, 8, 9, 10. What's this? This is finding an angle. So now, and every time we were finding something now, our x's or whatever we were finding has been a length of a side. It either was a leg, and they gave us an angle. Okay, so now we're going to find the angles that are missing, and they're going to tell us some side lengths. So if a right triangle has 2 sides of known length and no angles other than the 90, it has to be a right triangle to do this right triangle trig. we can still use the same trig ratios to find the missing angles. So we're still going to be thinking about opposite leg to the angle, adjacent leg to the angle, and the hypotenuse, but they have to be from that angle we're trying to find, okay? So we'll look at the pictures in a minute, but this part's super easy because this is just about what to do on your calculator. What you do is you unsign it. Okay, you know how on your calc, we've done squaring, and to unsquare, we do square rooting, right? We want to unsquare something. These are inverse operations. They undo each other. You have other inverse operations on here. Even these, but they have their own special keys because they're so popular. They have their own special keys. So you've got, don't have to hit the second button to undo multiply. You just divide, right? Those undo each other. Add, what do you do to undo adding something? You subtract something. But they are so often used, these have their own buttons. The ones over here, they don't have their own buttons. They have sign and unsigning, or inverse signing is what's on the second key. It's above it. You see how right here sign above there, this SIN with the -1? It's not a different kind of sin. It is sign, and it's undoing the sign. So cosine, undoing the cosine. Tangent, undoing the tangent. What we need to do is, if we have this problem, it says the sine of A is this decimal ratio, we need to get A alone. We want angle A. We don't want the sine of angle A. So what you're actually doing is taking the inverse sine, and that would cancel that out. That's what gives you angle A alone. So on the other side, you're taking the inverse sine of both sides. That's technically what you are doing, taking the inverse sine of both sides. So when you want to find an angle, all you do is hit second. You're going to see this on your calc, and you're going to put in the decimal, and that's going to give you angle A. Okay, so here's what we do. We go second sine. We put in the ratio 0.64. I forgot 27. And then hit enter, and it tells us the angle that had to be. So 39.99, we're going to round to 40 degrees. Okay, so all you have to do on every one of these is undo the sine, cosine, or tangent. So next you're going to do second, put in the second sine, of course, then put in 0.99756, hit enter, and it will give you the angle 85.99667, blah, 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 and you're going to round that to 86 degrees. Okay, the next one is the tangent ratio. Now, this one, you're going to hit second tangent and put in that decimal, 1.60033. Enter, and you get 58 degrees. And then finally, this next one, we're going to do second cosine, 0.97029, 029. O's aren't zeros, actually. 14 degrees. All right, try the next ones are just fractions, which could be converted to decimals, but if you've got the comparison, this would be like saying the opposite leg to angle A is 4 and the hypotenuse is 5, because sine is opposite over hypotenuse. This one is cosine of A is saying that the adjacent leg is 24 and the hypotenuse is 25. Okay, so we're still just going to, same thing though, to find the angle or the size of the angle that those things are across from, etc. So we hit second sine 4/5. You just type 4 divided by 5. And you get 53.1 degrees, which we're going to round to the nearest degree, 53 degrees. Okay, so try the next ones, please. Just type them in. And then check if you got your answers right. Number 12 should be 16. Now, how come number 13 was 45 without maybe even looking or using the calculator? Because this means opposite leg to adjacent leg. The legs are the same size, which means it's a 45, 45, 90. So you should get 45. Okay, and then second sign of 12/13, what's that one? Yeah, 67 is what we should be getting. All right, you got 4 more there. Hit those, please. And then we're going to find out how to do it from triangle pictures. How many of you are done with through 18 now? You're fast typers. Okay. 15, 37. I don't like rounding to the nearest whole degree, actually. I kind of feel like I'm chipping my... Sometimes this bugs me, especially if it's close to half. 53, and then 60 and 50. All good? Anybody still need that? Or I just covered up the answers again? Okay, so here's what you really need to know how to do, not just typing on a calculator. We need to find the missing angle where the question mark is for each picture. For each of the following triangles, stand at the question mark and label the two measured sides as opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse in relationship to that angle that you're trying to find. Decide which trig ratio to use, write an equation, and solve using the inverse trig functions on your calculator. Round your answers to the nearest. It says whole degree. I'm not going to be picky if you go to the 10th. I kind of prefer that anyway, but let's check it out. Here you are. This is where your question is. Instead of an X on a side now, we kind of have an X, if you will, on an angle. All right, so we want to know what angle A is. So it's like you're still standing here looking from angle A, okay? I got my little eyelashes. All right, so I'm looking out, and I say the 36 is on the opposite leg, and this thing is the adjacent leg where the 40 is. Now, the hypotenuse is missing, which means I'm going to use the tangent. So I say, okay, well, the tangent of angle A, what I'm trying to find, is equal to opposite 36 over 40. So now when I'm trying to find an angle, I'm going to hit type on my calculator, second tan 36 divided by 40. Excuse me. I have a tickle in my throat. All right, and we'll go the nearest degree, so that would be 42 degrees. Okay, the next one, a little different. The question mark is by the angle B. So now I'm looking from angle B, and I say, well, the side opposite is blank. The hypotenuse is 31, and the side adjacent is 28. Adjacent and hypotenuse, I'm going to use the cosine. So I say the cosine of angle B, I don't know angle B yet, is adjacent 28 over 31. And so I'm going to calculate angle B by doing second cosine. Every time you find an angle measure, you're using the second keys. Oops, I hit the tan button. Second cosine. What number am I on? 2? 28 divided by 31. Got 25.4 degrees. That's the kind that bugs me to round to the nearest degree. So if we did to the nearest degree, it'd be 25 degrees. Okay, angle C. What do you think? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Okay, sine, because you're coming from angle C. I have the right question mark, correct? Yours looks exactly. I know I've got one that's messed up. I got to fix. I think it's number 6. Okay, so that's opposite and hypotenuse. That was the sine. The sine of angle C is 30 over 37. To second sine, 30 divided by 37. Okay, 54.2 degrees or 54 degrees. All right, number 4. We're standing at angle D. Hmm. 14 is opposite. 22 is adjacent. The hypotenuse is blank. So that tells me I want to do the tangent of angle D is equal to 14 over 22. And I do second tangent, 14 divided by 22. When did you get 32.5 degrees? That bugs me to drop that one off because actually you'd round it down to 32 degrees. If you went to the nearest whole degree, it would be 32 degrees. I just assumed and actually in our ISM, we're going to be going to the nearest tenth. So I would have then written 32.5 degrees if I was going to the 10th. Okay, someone want to set up 5 for me? All right, Takasha? Okay. Uh-huh. Yes. Uh-huh. That's it. $60 degrees. Okay, great. You got it. Okay. So this is really if you're, oh, I have my question mark in the wrong place on 6, don't I? Is on your paper it by the F? Okay. I shall move it. I think I just changed it and then I didn't do it on the worksheet because I wanted one to be a sign. And this is not, well, come on. It's not moving. Now it is. All right, and this would be a cosine as well. Cosine of angle F is 24 over 29. So let's get this one over with. What's angle F? How many? Okay, 34 degrees to the nearest whole degree. I don't want to use those. We already know them. Is your question mark on 7 by the G? Well, I'll be. Okay, so that should be a tangent. Seems like everybody's just working away. 58.7 degrees would round to 59 degrees. All right, I think we're going to just keep going, and we'll check those in a moment. Okay, I'm just going to ask a few of you what you got. What was angle H for number 8? Olivia? Angle number 8. You got what, honey? 28 degrees? Okay, are we good? And how about number 9? Abby? 45? Okay. 10, you should have had the tangent. Is my question mark in the right place? All right, I was worried about that. What'd you get, Nathan? $58? Is that what you said, hon? 59? Is that everybody else got the same thing? All right, I'm just verifying. All right, and you should have tangent for 11 as well. What did you get for that one, Donovan? Uh-huh. 47. Okay. And what's the setup? Go ahead and finish this one off for me, Caitlin. Can you tell me the setup and everything? And you did say sine of angle U, and you know it's angle U anyway. Okay, what'd you get? All right, great. Now, what's next here? And I'll show you how to get started on this, but we're going to go to the ISN. This is kind of funny. Books that have never been written. I made one up of my own. I'll tell you it later, because I don't want to put it in my recording. But anyway, these are kind of cute. There's a way to tell if you're doing things right. You find your answer, and it should be here. And they did round to the nearest degree. So, for example, you would look at number, the first one, which has a U at the angle you're trying to find. So, just want to make sure you understand you're finding angles, just like what we were doing just now. So, this is where your question is. Okay, so we're going to be standing here. We'll look at this would be your opposite leg. This would be your hypotenuse, of course. And we would do the not the tangent. What's the one for opposite and hypotenuse? You never use a tangent. Sine, the sin. No sin. Sine of U is 3/5. And then you'll find that answer by doing second sine 3/5. 3 divided by 5. You go and you get 36.86, and you round that to 37 degrees. Okay, so angle U is 37. Then you go to the puzzle. You find the 37s, if there are more than one, and you put a U on top of them. Oh, I missed that one. All right, there we go. And you just continue to the end, and you will find the books that were never written and who they were by. Now, let's go, please, to the ISN. So you have your examples in there. It won't take us too long. I got a couple word problems I want you to have. Since we already learned just now how to find the missing angles, let's get these set up and just show in our ISN what we did. Okay, so we would be looking from angle A. From there, the 36 is opposite, and the hypotenuse is the 40. So I've got opposite and hypotenuse, so I use the sine of angle A equals 36/40. This is what I typed to find angle A then is second sine, and it will look like this. Yes. Okay. All right, so on the second example, we're going to be looking from angle B. The 28 would be the opposite leg, and the hypotenuse is blank. So this 31 is your adjacent leg. Opposite and adjacent tells me to use the tangent. So the tangent of angle B equals 28/31. And I forgot to finish the previous problem. Oh my goodness. You are going to hit second sine 36 divided by 40. And on the next one here, angle B is going to hit, you're going to be doing second tangent of 28 divided by 31. So let's go make those calculations now. Second sine 36 divided by 40 for the first one would have given us 64.2 degrees. Now, it said at the top to round the answers to the nearest tenth of a degree. So 64.2 degrees. The second one, we're going to do second tangent 28 divided by 31. Okay, we get 42.1 degrees. Our third examples will be standing at angle C. Opposites blank. Hypotenuse is 37, and the adjacent leg to the angle is 30. So that's opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent, that's your cosine. Make sure that cosine of C is equal to adjacent, which is 30, hypotenuse on the bottom, 37. You're going to hit second cosine. I forgot, 30 divided by 37? I got 35.8 degrees. Again, this is what you're typing in the calculator. It'll look like cosine with a -1, and you then put in the fraction. And I forgot what angle measure we got just now. It was 35.8 degrees. Make sure you have degrees on your angles, please. All right, then we have a few word problems. Bill's an architect designing a new parking garage for the city. The floors of the garage are to be 10 feet apart. The exit ramps between each pair of floors are to be 75 feet long. What's the measurement of the angle of elevation of each ramp? An angle of elevation is simply an angle that opens from a horizontal line. And I'll be talking to you about that, and we'll be doing notes on that. This is an angle of elevation. So that's why they put it right there. Okay, so we're going to find x in relationship to that angle. The 10 is opposite, and the 75 is on the hypotenuse. Now, this angle measure should be fairly small because you got to go up the ramp with your car. So it can't be super steep. So what if you made a miscalculation and you got like 50 degrees? Would that be possible? No, so we need to be a little realistic. This angle should be pretty small. So we're going to be doing sine of x degrees is equal to 10 over 75, or hit second sine 10 divided by 75. Notice the ratio is a small number compared to a large number, which will give us a small angle. 7.66 would round to 7.7 degrees. And how we got it was, this is what you typed. You don't have to write this step if you don't want to. And we got 6.7 degrees. That's a reasonable steepness for a car to go up. 5, we got a trolley car track rising vertically 40 feet. Vertical would be the up and down. I don't know why that blank is way up there. I'll put it where it goes. All right, so this is 40 feet, and then the horizontal distance of 630 feet. That would be going at the bottom. What's the angle of elevation of the track? So we want to find this angle that opens up from the horizontal. That's going to be the tangent. The tangent of x equals 40 over 630. We will type on our calc second tan, 40 divided by 630. This is definitely used in architecture, road building, all kinds of stuff. 3.6 degrees. And that was, I don't know, x is 3.6 degrees. It really wasn't angle x because that wasn't a point. Get that off there. All right, one more. Side length. The length and width of a rectangle are 6 and 5 respectively. That means that the width is the 6 and the length is the 6 and the width is the 5. It doesn't really matter where you put them if you were drawing this picture. However, what is the measure of the angle formed by a diagonal and the longer side? The diagonal is there. The longer side would be the 6. And then I would be trying to find this angle right here. So opposite and adjacent, that's going to be the tangent of x is equal to 5/6. So we'll be calculating second tan of 5 divided by 6. And that angle is 39.8 degrees. Okay, we've got like 7 minutes. You're not packing now. You're going back to your puzzle. Anybody have one they're not finding the answer to at this point? Please use your time wisely and work on these. And the second one's assigned too, as well, also, and that looks like it's an I. So I just wrote a capital I so I could tell what it was. All right, your assignment is to finish the packet. Be prepared with questions for tomorrow.